Good morning and welcome to our daily word this morning, the middle of this week. Glad you could join me again on this beautiful sunny May morning for our continued journey through Scripture and the daily word and what it means for us and how we have Scripture apply to our lives and what it means for us. And hopefully it helps us to live better. Today is daily word number 726. So as always, I'm glad you could join me for our time together. I'm glad you carve out time to be with me and to respond to me by saying good morning or whenever it is. I'm always glad that you do that and lets me know that folks are listening and we continue this journey together. So for this morning, as we continue this long conversation through Scripture, I've chosen for us from the book of Luke, chapter 9, verses 18 through 20. And this is probably for us a familiar conversation that we've heard before, but it's one that we should pay attention to. Excuse me. Once, when Jesus was praying alone, with only the disciples near him, he asked them, "Who do the crowds say that I am?" They answered, "John the Baptist, but others Elijah, and still others, that one of the ancient prophets has risen." He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Peter answered, "The Messiah of God." Now, other versions tell it a little differently, but this is from the New Revised Standard Version. Who do you say that I am? So we are at the end of our confirmation journey. You might have seen the pictures I posted. If you've opened today's email, you'll see pictures there. If you look at the Facebook page, the St. Paul's Facebook page, you see pictures there. You know that we posted throughout all of our times together the pictures of our feet around the Christ candle, symbolic of our journey together. And of course, now we're at the end, so we're preparing certificates, and I want to say the right words. And so we have gone through the girls' names. And I want to be sure, so I wrote it down just as they told me. And two of the girls reminded me that there are two N's at the end of their first name. And so we understand this whole identity thing. Who do we say that we are? And what do our names mean? And where do we get them from? And all of that's important. And so I want to be sure that on Sunday morning, I say the right things. And so this question that Jesus gives to the disciples, two questions actually. So what are people saying about me? Who are they saying that I am? And so they answered John the Baptist, Elijah, one of the ancient prophets that's risen from the dead. And there are probably this multitude of answers they could have given. But then Jesus points the question right back to them. And it's an important question for those disciples. But who do you say that I am? And of course, Peter says, "You are the Messiah, the Son of God." And of course, Jesus responds, "You're right, Peter, and upon this rock I'll build my church." Who do you say that I am? We can find out a lot about people, right? By talking to them, by figuring out what their name is. We can Google just about everything in the world that we want to. We can find out about people. We can find their names. We can go on all the social media sites. You could go into search. You could type my name in that search and you'll find me there. You'll find my Facebook account. You'll find my Twitter account. You'll find my Instagram account. You'll find my YouTube channel, and all you'll find there is me preaching over and over and over again, even old sermons way back a long time ago. We can find out about each other in those kinds of ways. So Jesus kind of takes a poll with the disciples. But the second question, at least for me, is really the essential question for us today. who do you say that I am? Now, Peter gives the right answer, of course. But then the question comes to us. Who do we say Christ is? And our answer, who do we say Christ is, should reflect in our living, should reflect in our words, should reflect in those social media, Google postings. The answer, who do you say that I am? So if we answer as Peter, you are the Messiah of God, the Christ. If we answer that, then our answer has to be who we truly are, then shows up in the way that we relate to each other. And that's so critical in our culture, that who we are and who we say Christ is shows up in our relationship with each other. You know, we can't say you are the Messiah of Christ and then, well, so one of my pet peeves, you can't say that you're the Messiah of Christ and then be a name caller. You just can't. You just can't claim Christ as your Messiah and be a name caller. You can't claim Messiah as your Christ and say things that are off color, if you will, or inappropriate. We can't claim this Messiah of Christ if we don't love our neighbors as ourselves. We just can't. The question for us, if we were to take it personal, as I think we should, who do you say that I am, becomes personal. And we don't have to give a public account of it. It's reflected in the way that we relate to each other. And you know, for 726 days together, we've had this same theme. You've heard it from me again and again and again and again, that our living, our interaction with each other, our relating to each other should be changed by Scripture, by the Christ becoming part of who we are. We should live differently now, 726 days in. Jesus asked them this question because he wanted to know. And he wanted their lives to reflect who he was. That there be no mistake in the end that he indeed was the Messiah, the Christ, the Son of God. And so for us, friends, as we live our lives, it's really incumbent on us to live like that, to live just in that vein, that who we are and who we claim Christ is shows up all the time in our relationship with others. And I hope that you and I would strive to do that. We're not perfect. We make all kinds of mistakes. So do I. I don't always do the very best that I could do. I know that. But that's what we're called to strive to have the Messiah, the Christ, show up in the ways that we relate to each other. So that's the word for today. Thanks for joining me for our time together. Thanks always for being present with me. I pray you always know of God's love that surrounds you and know of my love for you. And I will see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Have a great day.